How much running is too much? It's a question every single one of us runners asks. And for decades, we really thought we had the right answer. But what if that answer was just wrong? Today, we're going to dive into a massive study that pretty much flips everything we thought we knew on its head.
Yeah, you know this one. You've heard it a million times, right? From coaches and magazines all over the internet. The 10% rule. It's basically been treated as the gospel of safe running, the one thing that's supposed to keep you from doing too much, too soon, and getting hurt.
But what if, and this is a big what if that rule, the very foundation of so many training plans, is actually a myth? What if the real danger isn't where we've been looking all this time? Well, a huge new study decided to find out for sure.
So, let's get into the evidence, because this isn't just someone's opinion or a hunch. We're talking about hard data from a truly unprecedented global experiment.
Okay, so the researchers behind this thing, the Garmin Run Safe study, they wanted to cut through all the old advice, all the noise. Their goal was pretty simple: use real, objective data from thousands of runners to figure out what training mistakes actually lead to injuries.
And when I say thousands, I am not kidding. They tracked 5,205 runners. So we're not talking about a small, isolated group here. This is a massive number of people. And this wasn't just in one place, either. These runners were from 87 different countries all over the world, which gives the data this incredible diversity. Okay, but here's the part that really blows my mind. Over an 18-month period, they analyzed, wait for it, more than 500,000 individual running sessions. Every single one, all tracked by GPS, giving them this incredibly clear picture of what people were actually doing day in and day out. So they've got this mountain of data. What happens when you point it at the old rules? Well, this is where things get really, really interesting.
Right here is where everything we thought we knew just kind of crumbles. The theory, right, is that a big weekly jump in mileage is the bad guy. But the data? It told a completely different story. The study found, get this, no significant link between jumping your weekly mileage and your risk of getting injured. The 10% rule just didn't hold up.
And if you think that's wild, hold on, because it gets even crazier. You know that metric a lot of smartwatches and apps use? That acute to chronic workload ratio, or ACWR? It basically compares your recent workouts to your long-term training load. The whole idea is that a big spike is a huge red flag. Well, this study found the exact opposite. A higher ACWR was actually linked to a lower risk of injury. I mean, that's completely backwards to how we've all been told to use it.
So, this leaves us with a giant question mark, right? If the weekly total isn't the problem, and that fancy metric is actually pointing us in the wrong direction, then what on earth is the real reason behind most of these overuse injuries?
The answer, it turns out, is much more immediate, much more specific. The study points to one single culprit, something they call the single-session spike.
So what is that? It's actually super simple. The real danger isn't your whole week's worth of running. It's about one run. That single running session that is more than 10% longer than the single longest run you've done in the entire previous month. That's it. That's the moment of truth.
And when I say the risk skyrockets, I am not exaggerating. The data is crystal clear on this. You cross that line on a single run, and your chance of getting hurt just goes through the roof. Okay, just look at these numbers. They are wow. Even a small spike, we're talking a single run that's just 10 to 30% longer than your monthly max, your injury risk jumps by 64%. And if you go really big, say you more than double your longest run, that risk shoots up by an incredible 128%. The takeaway is just so clear, isn't it? It's that one overambitious long run that does the damage, not the slow weekly grind. Okay, so that might sound a little scary, but the good news is this study gives us a super clear, really practical guide to train smarter and, most importantly, stay healthy. It's a simple 3-step process. Seriously, anyone can do this. First, look back at the last 30 days and find that one single longest run you did. Got it? Okay, step 2, take that distance and multiply it by 1.1. That number, that's your new speed limit. And step 3 is the easiest part. Just make sure your next long run stays under that number. That's it. You're managing the real risk right where it actually matters. So let's just boil this all down. What does this really mean for your running? Well, first, that old saying, too much, too soon, is absolutely right. But we were looking at the wrong soon. It's about a single session, not a whole week. Second, you really can't just trust the default metrics on your watch to keep you safe. And finally, the big one,
shift your focus. Stop obsessing about your weekly total and start paying really close attention to how you gradually progress your single longest run. So, it really comes down to this. After seeing all this data, it's time to go look at your own training log, your own plan, and ask yourself a really honest question. Is it built on a myth?